All right, welcome. Today we are giving your brain a quick, powerful grammar workout. Think of it like a boot camp for your sentences, you know? We're going to get them lean, strong, and working just perfectly. So let's jump right in and tune up those skills.
You know the feeling, right? We have all been there, staring at a sentence, wondering, wait, which word is it? Is it lay or lie? Rose or raised? These little things can be so frustrating. But today, we're going to clear them all up for good. So first up, let's talk about the absolute heart of every sentence, its engine. This is the part that makes everything happen, that drives all the action forward. And I'm talking, of course, about the verb. You know, at its core, the definition is actually super simple. A verb is just a word that shows an action, like run, write, or think. Or it shows a state of being, like is, are, or seems. No verb, no sentence. It is literally that important. So if we stick with our engine analogy, think of it this way. Some engines just run, all by themselves. But other engines, they transfer their power to actually move something else, kind of like a conveyor belt. And that right there, that's the key difference between the two main types of verbs. And check this out. This slide shows those two modes perfectly. Over on the left, we've got intransitive verbs. That's the engine running on its own. The window broke. The cast danced. See? The action is totally complete. But on the right, you have transitive verbs, where that action gets transferred to something else. The actor ate. Well, ate what? The passage. The team built. Built what? The set. So here's the trick. If you can ask what after the verb and get a real answer, it's transitive.
Okay, so if our engine, our verb, is moving things, what exactly are those things? Let's take a look at the cargo of the sentence. We call these objects and complements.
Exactly. If the verb is the power source, then what are the gears, the boxes, the cargo, all the things being moved around? Well, that's where objects and complements come in, and they would give our sentences all their meaning and detail. Now, what's really cool about this slide is how it breaks down these different jobs. Let's look at that first row, the direct object. This one directly gets the action. The author writes, what? The script. Easy enough? Now, look at the second one, a predicate noun. This one follows a state of being verb, like is, and it actually renames the subject. The lead actor is who? A doctor. And finally, the predicate adjective. It just describes the subject. The costumes are what? Purple. See how that works? All right, so we have our engine, the verb, and we have the parts it's moving, the objects. Now we just need the rules of the road to make sure everything runs together nice and smooth. This is called subject-verb agreement. And here it is, the golden rule. Now, it sounds almost too simple, but this is the foundation for everything. One subject gets a singular verb, more than one subject gets a plural verb. The actor performs, the actors perform. But of course, there are always some tricky spots on this road. Okay, these are the classic tripwires, the ones that get everybody. First, as you can see up top, if you connect subjects with and, it makes them plural, so the director and the writer are here. Simple. Second, don't let those phrases that get stuck between the subject and the verb fool you. In our example, the box of props was heavy. The real subject is box, which is singular. And last, with either or, the verb just has to agree with whatever subject is closest to it. So here, dog is right next to the verb, so we say, the dog is in the shop. Now for the fun part. We've got the theory down, so let's put it to the test. Let's practice avoiding some of the biggest, most common potholes in the English language. You ready? It's a rapid-fire round. I'm going to show you a sentence with a choice. You try to pick the correct word before I show you the answer. Let's do it. Okay, first one. The sun, has it risen or has it raised? Think back to those transitive and intransitive verbs. Is the sun doing something to an object or is it just doing its own thing? And the answer is risen. So why is that? Well, because to rise is something the sun does all by itself. It's intransitive. To raise, on the other hand, needs an object. You'd raise your hand or raise a flag. Okay, next up. Is the stagehand going to set the box down or sit the box down? Again, just think about it. Is there an object involved here? And you got it. The answer is set. Just like raise, the verb set needs an object. You set something down. The verb sit, on the other hand, is what you do. You sit in a chair. And now for the big one, lie versus lay. This one gets everybody. But the key is to just remember that lie is something you do yourself. You recline, you lie on a couch. Lay is something you do to an object. You place it. You lay a book on the table. Now, here's the really tricky part, so look closely at this chart. The past tense of lie is lay. I know, it's crazy. So you'd say, today I lie on the couch, but yesterday I lay on the couch. It's confusing for sure, but that's the rule.
Okay, one last quick one. This is a very common mix-up. Have you did or have you done? What do you think?
Of course, it's done. Anytime you have a little helping verb like have or has in front, you need to use the past participle form of the main verb, which here is done.
So there you have it. It really all just boils down to these simple little building blocks. First, you find your engine, the verb. Then you see what it's acting on, the object. And finally, you just apply the rules of the road to make sure it all runs together perfectly.
And that's our grammar boot camp. You now have the core mechanics you need to build really powerful sentences. But that leaves us with one last, kind of fascinating question. Now that you know all the rules, when is it okay to break them? That's definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.